Welcome to the Pretty Sister podcast, where you are part of a community of women seeking to empower, encourage, and uplift one another through friendship, shared experiences, and the power of sisterhood. I'm your host and original Pretty Sister, Callie Sawyer. Thank you for being here today, and welcome to our supportive community. I want you to know you are valued, worthy, and truly beautiful. And that is the message that I invite you to embrace into your life as you become a pretty sister. We're inviting you to become a pretty sister. And today I have a special guest with me, my very pretty sister, Martha Montagnoli. And as we unfold, our goal today is to share with you our story of pretty sisters as we welcome you into the sisterhood and share the origin story of how this began. And so I've brought my sister here today as we launch this podcast. So welcome. This is actually the first podcast that we're doing. And I'm so glad you're here. And I hope that you can feel the love that we want you to feel. I hope that you can truly come to know your worth. And that's what the Pretty Sisters message is about. So to get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about where this began. And Martha's going to help me. It started when I was a little girl. So I'm the youngest of 5, and she's one of my older sisters. I have 2 older sisters, Martha and Becky. I'm going to bring Becky on another time. And when I was a little girl, Martha named me Pretty, nicknamed me. That was my nickname, right?
It was. You were so sweet and so good. And it was a time in our family that was difficult. And we all wanted to kind of shield our pretty sister. We wanted her to not feel the effects of the hardship in our family at that time. And this little sister, my wonderful little sister, just exuded goodness. She was lovely outside, but I think more than anything, lovely inside. And so I started calling her Pretty. I wanted her to feel that name in her soul and to know that she was beautiful. And perhaps that was the shield, right? To help her feel empowered and to know who she was, who she is, and to not feel the burden of the story. And I think that was the creation of a new dialogue, an uplifting, positive, really happy dialogue. Who doesn't want to be called pretty? Right?
Well, it's fun to actually do this and have you share your memory of where that came from, because I was young when our family was going through a difficult time. Our parents were separating. We were moving across the country. We had a lot of disruption going on in our family. And I get teary thinking about what you just said, that you wanted to shield me from that. And it was such a gift that you gave me, because I look back at that time and I don't remember the pain of it so much. There was pain and there was trial for sure. But I definitely believe that gift of that nurturing, that love, that word. And guys, we're not talking, like you said, pretty isn't about just being pretty on the outside. It's about how you feel about yourself on the inside, truly knowing your worth and knowing that you're good enough. And that's the gift I think that you gave me, is that I felt loved, I felt good enough, I felt pretty. And then I reciprocated that and I began calling you pretty. It wasn't comfortable for just me to be the pretty sister. And I remember feeling uncomfortable about that a little bit. So you called me pretty and I called you pretty, and we became the Pretty Sisters.
Right. I think that it began with Pretty, and especially our sister, Becky. Becky and I called her Pretty. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was Becky that one day said, we should be the Pretty Sisters. And then it became a new conversation amidst hardship. And it was really fun.
It
gave us something really happy to talk about. And we did silly things, as you do as little girls. Hey, Pretty, you want to go to Dart Drag and get some licorice? I found some money in the couch. And we'd go on adventures, and we would do so many fun things.
Well, and it became so fun, and we were having so much fun with it, that as we met other friends and other women, they became pretty sisters too. It's like when we met someone that we liked that was like-minded, they became our pretty sister. And we invited them to do pretty sister activities. Like you said, we had lunches and candies and treats that all became our pretty sister things. And it just it gave us a name, a way to just
It was a
word
new
the
dialogue.
concept.
And so when someone was sad, when anyone was struggling, they needed a pretty sister lift, right? So Pepperidge Farm cookies became
Milano's specifically.
right. And so anyone who was struggling or going through something difficult, they needed some pretty sister love, right? And so we would have pretty sister baskets and pretty sister lunches. I remember one time a niece was struggling and we needed to go rescue her. So we just picked her up from where she was and had a pretty sister lunch. And then we decided we added tiaras, right?
Yes.
Well, if you're a pretty sister, you have divine worth. Who you are, and not on the outside, but your innate goodness is beautiful. So let's celebrate that. And so the tiara became a representation of that, I don't know, regal nature. You're a princess, you're
inside
a queen. And I think people react differently when they feel good about themselves. They can square their shoulders and be confident and say, even though I'm not perfect and maybe what's happening in my story is sad, I am not a sad story. I have infinite worth. I am good. I am pretty. And so, to the world, pretty may mean, cosmetic and fake, but to us, pretty is divine worth.
Although I do love pink lipstick.
We do. So
we love pretty things too. Let's be honest.
Putting on pink when you're crying, right?
Yes.
When you've gone through a hardship, it lifts your soul.
Right.
So we have champagne.
We both showed up number today uncoordinated because it's just a natural pretty sister color.
Right. And so we found this Lancome lipstick, number 22.
Yes.
And it's like the perfect shade pretty sister color that just lifts us.
So many symbols over time we incorporated into the pretty sisters. Like you said, the crown, the lipstick, the cookies, the
chocolate licorice
lunch. Yes. Just fun little things that became symbolic that would buoy us up and make us happy and was just a lot of fun. So we've had a lot of fun with this over time. And I'm so grateful, so grateful.
It's become such a blessing. And as we grew older and we, got married and had children, created our own families, then we brought the pretty sisterhood into our extended family. And so our children know that they are pretty sisters. Yes. And if even, as they got older, if they did something wrong, I could say, that's really not pretty sister behavior. Right. Because pretty sister behavior is good. Right. It's doing the right things. And we labeled it. We put a logo together, Pretty Sisters, and we got Pretty Sister shirts.
Well, and we have a Pretty Sister pledge that we will read to you in a little bit. We have a pledge and we have a whole process. We had to define it actually.
Like, what is this? This magic, the secret.
Yes, because it was magical. We had friends and everyone wanted to be a pretty sister. So we came up with a fun way to dub them, to initiate them to be a pretty sister. And so we had to write a pledge that we would initiate them with. And we did that also for our kids. Once we started having our daughters, we wanted them to understand what it meant to be in this tribe with us, to have this code of behavior. And so and once they understood, it really was helpful. Our girls are older now. I still have one in high school, but yes, it was so great to be able to say that is not a pretty sister thing to do. And they would just like, okay, that's all I had to say. You could give them a look and just say, no, that's not, you're not being a pretty sister. And they would shape up.
They would.
They would not want to be told that they are not part or not behaving appropriately, and they understood the code. They understood what it is. So we want
a code
over time to, to help you to understand what it is to be a pretty sister, and to invite you, because anybody can. This is not exclusive. We've wanted over the years, we've probably crowned hundreds of women friends
with the tiara, and we have a wand, and I have wings.
We've had pretty sister parties, birthday parties for years with our daughters over the years, and friends that come over that want to become a pretty sister. Yeah, we ended up printing shirts and giving out shirts. We've done this thing for years, and it's just become, I think I have 5 kids I've been raising. You've raised your kids. It's now time where I decided to share, to share in a larger way, in a bigger audience, just because we want you to feel the love, the sisterhood. And I'm so passionate about women supporting women in friendship, because not only have I benefited in my life from the confidence that I gained from knowing how loved I was and being cherished in this way through my sisters, but also through my girlfriends that I've embraced. And I've collected different girlfriends throughout my life at different times and phases that have meant the world to me. And I'm going to bring them on, and we're going to talk to them and talk about how friendship inspires and empowers women, and how we girls don't need to be mean. This whole mean girl concept, we need to abandon that. And
it's not part of the code.
It's not part of the code. That mean girls word it gets me, because I want there to be a different message, a different narrative, something else that we're talking about being nice and supportive and loving.
Kindness.
And the way that we can uplift each other and inspire one another through this sisterhood, through understanding that when you rise, I rise, and we can all be good together. We can all support one another, and that there is no room or need to tear one another down. And, somebody asked me one time, as we were sharing this pretty sister concept, or as she said, if I had been called pretty and been loved in that way as a little girl, how different would be my life would be. And I think it was at that point in time when this friend, it was Whitney Johnson, said that to me, I realized, wow, it really was such a gift, because I took it for granted. I just grew up with this love.
You're pretty.
And it's brought me so much joy. I have an innate sense of joy and
of self-worth.
And
it's given you a confidence. And, being called pretty doesn't necessarily change the situation that you're in that may be difficult for you.
Right.
But it empowers you to handle it with joy, with grace, with courage, and I think with hope.
Yes. Well, to recognize that we aren't the hardships and the trials and the situations that we're placed in. And what we are is how we overcome them, how we answer them, how we rise to them. And as we start to see that life is working for you, not against you, that all things can and do work out for you, and have that type of approach, then we can meet every challenge with grace and just that assurity that we will get through this, that we can choose to walk through this happily and with our sisters, with support from those who love us, and that we are supported. I think that's one of the things that just really helped me in life, was knowing that I wasn't alone. I've never felt alone, and I've always felt the love of my pretty sisters. And that has changed everything. And I want you to have that gift too. I want you to feel supported, loved, and that you are not alone. So should we share the pledge?
I think we should. We have so many things that Callie will be sharing with you. We put together the ABCs of a pretty sister, the pretty sister recipe. We have the pledge.
So many fun things for you to partake in. And we'll just,
so many things to look forward to.
We're going to unveil it all.
Pretty Sisters is a way for you to know that no matter what, you can create your own beautiful story. You can reach your dreams. You are wonderful. You are of innate worth. You're strong and courageous. And I think feeling good about yourself changes your behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the antidote for the anxiety and depression that's plaguing the world. So maybe we start a new conversation from being depressed, I have depression and anxiety, to I'm a pretty sister. You know, our mother is an example of a pretty sister.
Absolutely.
And it's been fun to involve our whole entire family. We had a pretty sister family reunion.
Mm-hmm.
It was
All of our
on my
babies and
for the
little girls.
40th birthday. And in one podcast, we'll have to show the picture.
Yes.
But we have, so this is the logo that I showed you. So we had Pretty Sister shirts made for babies all the way up to our beautiful mother, who's now 84 years old and is truly a pretty sister. Now, don't worry, the boys did not have Pretty Sister shirts.
No.
They were in camouflage.
They were in camouflage. And then another year, I remember they wanted a name. And I don't know if you remember this, but we created the League of Extraordinary Brothers.
Yes.
Which maybe sometime we'll do more with that. But that they had their own shirts and their own league, and they were the LEB.
Right. I think that we made a man card for all of the men that year.
Yes.
You know, it'll be fun for Callie, for you to bring on our daughters and even their friends, because I think every girl in our neighborhood has been crowned a pretty sister.
We'll share the crowning process at some
even
time
with
too.
fairy dust and all.
Yes, fairy dust is the magic that makes it all happen.
So
you have to believe in a little bit of magic for your dreams to come true. So we're a big proponent of dreaming and believing and creating your dreams. So we're going to talk through all those concepts as we begin to teach this pretty sister philosophy. And you brought up our mother, and she is amazing. And she is definitely the person who from a young age helped inspire me to dream and to believe that I could dream. I remember
the real OG.
She's the OG. She really is. I remember going to her time and time again and asking if I could have something or do something. And her answer was always yes. You just have to figure it out, and would empower me to then go after my dreams. And that's the process that I taught my daughters. You know, I'm not the one that says no to them. I let life and the world say no if they can't figure something out, but I let them go and dream and try to create. And it's such a beautiful gift that was given to me that's now being passed on to our pretty sister daughters.
You can do anything. And, you know, I just wanted to add, too, that it was not easy for you to follow that dream, believe, create concept when mom was saying, yeah, you can make that happen. Because it's not like we grew up with money and you had funds to do that. I remember when you wanted to go on a trip back to Washington, D.C., and you needed to earn $1,000? $2,000,
I think it was.
And our mom was like, yes, go, make it happen.
Sure.
She never capped us.
And that's hard to do when you make like $4 an hour.
A long time ago. Right. This was a long time ago.
But actually, I think it was $1,200 if I remember correctly.
It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you made it happen. And I think we need to have that understanding that we can make things happen.
Yes, absolutely. Again, not that you can't work and do things, you know, get to work and you got to get started. You don't need to feel dependent on others, but feel supported and go get the support that you need and ask for help. Learn to ask. Such a powerful,
absolutely
empowering thing to do. Okay, let's share the pledge.
We should do it.
Should we share the pledge?
Although I'm feeling like we need a tiara.
I know. You know what?
Do you have a tiara?
I have one right behind me.
Okay.
How about that?
Because you know what? I always have a tiara. I will tell a fun story while she finds the tiara. So, like I said, everyone in our neighborhood, when they were little, had a Pretty Sister t-shirt, whether it was for a girls' camp or whatever event, a birthday party, and we gave crowns. Well, these two little sisters that lived, Hannah and Addie Homestead, who lived down the end of the street, one day they showed up on my door and we lost her crown. Can we get another crown? And the other says, and I can't find my fairy dust. I'm like, hold on, I'll be right back. So I always have crowns. I always have fairy dust.
Yes.
I mean, and
there's like staple mom materials that we have.
Yeah, it's like Anne Hathaway in Princess Diaries, right? The tiara, the princess. It changes how you feel about yourself.
Absolutely. So in fact, it's rare for me to get through initiating somebody and saying the pledge without choking up.
Right.
Because to me, it means so much.
It means so much.
And it's such a serious commitments
Right.
that we're asking
Right.
these girls to make or that we've pledged.
It's like a female Navy SEAL pledge.
Yes. And so it's funny because I'll be in a party setting and I'm like pledging these little girls, and I tear up every time because it's so powerful. So someday and another time, because we didn't prepare for this fully to do the pledge with the dust and
Right.
feather boas,
and
the
then,
wand.
and then the twirl, and
We'll do that. We'll bring a little girl on.
Right. Well,
and we'll do that.
And I have to say that when you're in a setting where these little girls know they're going to be crowned and pledged, and a lot of times we'll say, we crown you the pretty sister of kindness.
Yes.
We crown you the pretty sister of goodness.
We give them a tribute.
Right. And then they own that. And we read about,
do that.
This is who you are, the pretty sister of goodness.
And then they just light up like,
and then they raise their hand that they want to take the pledge. I love it.
Okay, so I'm going to have you raise your hand.
Okay.
We just,
all right.
This. Okay. This is the pretty sister pledge. I am a pretty sister. You're going to repeat after me. I'm a pretty sister.
You want me to full out do it? Okay. I am a pretty sister.
I am an expression of beauty, joy, and love.
I am an expression of beauty, joy, and love.
I know who I am.
I know who I am.
I believe in myself.
See, now I'm tearing up. I believe in myself.
My purpose is grand.
My purpose is grand.
And my potential limitless.
And my potential limitless.
I have gifts and talents.
I have gifts and talents.
I will use them for good.
I will use them for good.
I give my best.
I give my best.
I deserve the best.
I deserve the best. See how my shoulders square. I deserve the best.
That's right. Let's see. I give.
And we're older pretty sisters.
I know. I give. And I can forgive. I see the good in God's children.
I see the good in God's children.
And the good in me.
And the good in me.
I look beyond myself and care for others.
I look beyond myself and care for others.
I know what it means to be a friend.
I know what it means to be a friend.
My life is a blessing and has purpose.
My life is a blessing and has purpose.
I radiate a beauty deep within.
I radiate a beauty deep within.
I am a princess of divine heritage.
I am a princess of divine heritage.
I am of infinite worth.
I am of infinite worth.
I love this part. I am the joy the world is waiting for.
I am the joy the world is waiting for.
I will choose to live each day to the fullest.
I will choose to live each day to the fullest.
I will make a difference.
I will make a difference.
I am a daughter of God.
I am a daughter of God.
I am a pretty sister. And there you have it, folks. There's the pledge. What a fun thing it has been to feel these things, to live this lifestyle, and to teach it to and to invite to our friends,
our children, their friends. You know, when I have two beautiful daughters, Francesca and Lucia, and when their friends were having a difficult time, they would say, "Mom, can we have so-and-so come over? She needs to be crowned." So I think all of their friends have been crowned, but it's always been at a moment where they needed to be surrounded with love and support. So I would say that all of their friends, everyone in our neighborhood, and even my friends, we brought it to adults.
Yes. In fact,
and they loved it. We would go out to lunch and we'd have on birthdays, and we'd be sitting there in a luncheon, and we would crown someone a pretty sister, and she would wear that with honor.
It became a fun birthday tradition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even it's been about 20 years ago, we did our first Pretty Sisters cruise, and we had close to 100 women.
In fact, they wrote an article about it in the newspaper. So this is Callie and Becky and I with our pretty sister mother.
Yeah, 20 years
Nancy.
ago. We did our first cruise with 100 women, and we had a wonderful time. In fact, we wore our Pretty Sister shirts around the cruise, and everyone would stop and say, "How do I be?
Yeah, can I be a pretty sister? How do I get one of those?"
And we are
going to make that available to you. I think we need to start printing Pretty Sister shirts again.
Yes, we're going to just do it all.
I'm going to write the children's book that you can look forward to buy.
Yeah. You've already written it. You just need to publish it.
I do, and illustrate it.
So many things that it just feels like now is the time to invite you.
Flood the world. Everyone, we're changing the dialogue.
Yes.
To being, I am pretty.
I'm a pretty. And to own that pretty, to call each other pretty, to feel pretty, and know that it means so much more than the beauty on the outside. It's all about who you are and you feeling loved, you feeling enough, you knowing your worth, that you're good enough, that your best is all you need to give, that it is, it's enough and you're enough. And that is our message for you today. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. I look forward to talking to you more. And Martha, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And everyone, feel pretty.
Coming and helping me to launch this. It feels so comfortable sitting here with my very pretty sister who I love so much, who has brought this gift to me that now I'm going to be sharing and bringing our other sister, Becky. Yes, and our daughters and our friends, our closest friends.
Crown pretty sisters. Let's all be pretty sisters.
Let's all be pretty sisters, and you are a pretty sister, and we want you to feel that, feel our love, and feel the acceptance of who you are.
And I think every guest should be crowned, at least appear with a crown.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Right.
Crowns.
We should even have crowns that pretty sister crowns people can order.
Absolutely.
We're developing all this. It's going to look forward to so much more.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.